everybody, welcome to a ServiceNow Yoga Snack. My name is Barbara Rotondo, and I have been practicing yoga for 20 years. I also am a certified yoga teacher, and in May, I'll complete a certification in yoga therapy. As part of my final project, I really wanted to give back to ServiceNow for allowing me to take the time to go through all my studies. And here's the result. So we will be going through a series of different videos to understand more about yoga therapy and how we can apply these principles to help you in your everyday job as well as in your personal life. So here is practice number 1, getting started and understanding the principles of yoga and yoga therapy. First, I'd love to acknowledge my teachers and pay respect to the lineage. Krishnamacharya is known as the founder of modern yoga. He was the first to go and teach yoga to everyday people. His son, Desikachar, who by the way was an engineer, followed in his father's footsteps and took all the oral tradition and was able to put it in writing as well as develop a stick figure system for all the poses and sequencing. My teacher is Gary Kraftsow, who studied for over a decade in Krishnamacharya's household. And he is the one that I've gone through all of my teacher training with. And then finally, my first yoga teacher, Uris Zinsberg's. So let's take a look at the foundations of yoga and yoga therapy. There are many different meanings of the word yoga, but in essence, it enables you to join or link all different areas of yourself and to master your mind, and especially to surface any patterns that you have in your thoughts, your behavior, or your emotions. It's also described as having a scientific system. It's very evidence-based. It allows for self-investigation or inquiry into yourself, allows for self-transformation and self-realization. Yoga therapy is what empowers individuals to progress towards improved health and well-being through the applications of the teachings and the practices of yoga. And in essence, yoga therapy is kind of like physical therapy or occupational therapy, but using all the knowledge of yoga so that we can eliminate, reduce, and manage any symptoms of suffering. It helps you improve your function and prevent reoccurrence of injury. And it helps you change your relationship to any condition that you have. My teacher always says, you are not your cancer, or you are not your lower back pain. And that's a really important part of identifying and improving your well-being. Let's take a look at the principles of yoga. First is your breath. We have the ability to control our breathing, to regulate it so that we can have a smooth, steady stream. It's very similar to the feeling when you're fogging a mirror. So if you were to exhale and fog a mirror, but close your mouth, it allows you to have better control of your exhale. It looks something like this. You inhale and exhale. When we valve our breathing, we're able to extend the length of the 4 parts of our breath. They are your inhale, your retention, or how you pause or hold your breath before you exhale, the exhale itself, and then the suspension or holding your breath before your next inhale. When we regulate these 4 parts of our breath, we can trigger our parasympathetic or sympathetic nervous system and allow to either nourish or energize ourselves or reduce and calm ourselves. This chart is an example of how you would organize a breathing practice around, in this case, increasing your retention so that you can have a more nourishing or energizing practice. So you would inhale for 6 counts, hold your breath, and then exhale for 6 counts as well. Second principle is linking breath to movement. So instead of just inhaling and moving your arms, or moving your arms and exhaling, we actually link the breath to movement so we have a stronger effect. It looks something like this. I inhale, and at the top of my inhale, I finish the movement. I exhale and pull my tummy in while I exhale, and then I finish the movement. Next is the concept of repetition and stay. PNF stands for proprioception neuromuscular foundation. It's a lot of words, but in essence it means we're going to contract and release our muscles so that we can allow ourselves to have a stronger, safer stretch. So instead of just going straight into a pose, we're going to go in and out of the pose several times so that when we stay in the pose, we can have a stronger stretch. We're going to retrain our muscles. It looks something like this. So I can go into a pose. I exhale, I come out. Inhale as I go into a pose. Exhale, come out. And now inhale, I go in a pose, and maybe I stay for 3 or 4 breaths. And then on the exhale, I come out. And then lastly is the principle of adaptation. You don't have to try to go into the most perfect yoga pose. Okay? Instead, yoga adapts to the person based on your anatomy or how strong you are, based on your emotional state, your thoughts, and so forth. So adaptation is a key thing in yoga. And that could be everything from compensating by bending your knees or using a prop or a chair to choosing to do less repetitions. One of the models in yoga is this idea that we are multidimensional human beings. And we have many models in yoga, just like we have in our industry, right? Like ITIL or IT for IT. One of these key models is this idea that we are not just one single channel human, but instead we are made up of multiple layers. So we'll uncover this in our following sessions. The first one is anatomy. That's your muscles and your bones and your joints. But layered on top is your physiology, how your digestive system or respiratory system or endocrine system are doing. Have you ever noticed when a child is upset, their breath is rapid, right? That's an indication that they're suffering or they're having pain or they're very upset. So we're going to work not only at our anatomy, but we're also going to look at regulating our physiology. Next are our thoughts. We're going to examine our thoughts, our opinions, and our judgments to help get a better understanding of who we are. Layered on top are our moods. Our moods are basically our emotions and our feelings and is an internal barometer for just how we're doing. And then lastly is a connection to something greater than yourself. Yoga is not religious, it's more spiritual. So whatever that is for you. So we will uncover all these different layers of you as we go through our yoga snacks. Let's take a look at just considerations. One is observe your breath. Sometimes your breath is a better indication of how you're doing than your brain. So pay attention to how you're breathing. Make adaptations as needed. And lastly, have awareness that things could come up, either related to work or personal. So let's step outside and do a short practice to see how we would integrate all these pieces of yoga.